Deep RPGs, horror games, racers, or side-scrolling shoot-em-ups, we have something for everybody. Yes, welcome back to our weekly eShop roundup where we go diving into the eShop world and discover the gems that we think you should take a look at. We've got 10 for you this week, and to get a bit more savings, don't forget to head over to www.switchwatch.net and use our code SwitchWatch5 to get 5% off of a Nintendo eShop card, which you can use across most regions. Now, without further ado, Juan, what is your pick this week?
How you doing, guys? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm up in the Alps skiing it up, but James is doing the bargains of the week this week, and I wanted to choose Hotshot Racing, which has 85% off in all regions. A fantastic game. Love the visuals on this one. I love how fast it is when you're actually playing the game. Gameplay is absolutely superb. There's loads of modes that you can play with your friends, either online or offline, you know, sitting on the couch and just having a good time with a few beers with your mates. It's a really great game, and I enjoyed playing this one through to the end. So with 85% off in all regions, it's an absolute steal at that price. I remember paying full price for that one, and I don't regret it one little bit. Take care, everybody.
Many thanks there, Juan. It looks like a great trip. I hope you had fun, and great pick as well. Now, for my first pick this week, I'm going with Curse of the Dead Gods. Roguelike games are a dime a dozen, but there's a good reason for that. They are good fun when done right, and whilst there isn't much story to speak of here, the gameplay makes up for it. It takes a lot of its influence from Hades, but also, as you play more, you'll see other influences from the likes of Dead Cells and Darkest Dungeon, with its double-edged sword curse mechanics. Progression is handled very well, as you need to complete each of the 9 dungeons' first floors before you can delve deeper into each. There's a bunch of relics to find, and there's a nice balance between in-game finds and permanent upgrades as well. Performance is very solid on the Switch, and whilst it's not the biggest game, it doesn't outstay its welcome, and that's something that I appreciate. With 50% off across all regions, it's a great bargain. Alright, now let's take a spooky turn. Outlast Bundle of Terror and Outlast 2 both have a whopping 85% off, making them must-have purchases for fans of the horror genre on the Switch. The original game is a true survival horror experience, putting you in the claustrophobic surroundings of an asylum where your only hope is to run and hide. What's more, the story is expanded with the Whistleblower DLC that dives further into the tale. Now, Outlast 2 is longer, tougher, and has some darker scenes, but it's also a bit of a change compared to the first. It is a more open affair, but is equally horrifying, with a creepy cult set deep in the Arizona desert. As you explore the murder of a pregnant woman, you become embroiled in a horrific story. Now, both games feature strong storytelling, excellent gameplay, and look great on the Switch, which is why they topped our best horror games on the Switch list. Now is the time to pick them up, if you can stomach them, that is. Sine Mora EX is a side-scrolling shoot-em-up that provides a unique challenge where time is the ultimate factor. It mixes classic shooter sensibilities with contemporary presentation, and overall this is a gorgeous shoot-em-up offering both a story mode that weaves an over-the-top tale and an arcade mode that provides deep, satisfying gameplay to those who like a challenge. With many ways to manipulate time, this one offers over 50 weapon combinations to complete each beautiful stage that fits to the player's skills with scaling difficulty. For £1, you can't really go wrong here, definitely one to look at picking up. VAMPYR is a gothic action RPG set in London during World War I and the Spanish flu epidemic. Dark times indeed. Now, there is something appealing about vampires, the mythology, their supernatural powers and their story, so it's a surprise that there aren't many great vampire games out there. In VAMPYR, you play as Dr. Jonathan Reed, a blood expert that gets turned. The story is engaging throughout, and it pivots around the struggle that Dr. Reed faces as a doctor, someone sworn to help people, and his new urges and need as a vampire, tempted to feast on those same people. It's an ambitious title. It doesn't get it perfectly right, but it nevertheless is a riveting story from start to end. Crysis Remastered was ported to the Switch, and it is superb to this day. The fast-paced action as you take on enemies in lush environments wearing your superhuman nanotech suit is thrilling and satisfying. There is a lot to enjoy here, from the story to the ability to tackle your goals in various ways, and the game is a blast to play on the move as well as on a TV. When it came out, this game really pushed the bar of graphics and environmental physics, and amongst all of that, it's a damn fine shooter. Now this package includes part 2 and 3 as well, and if anything, they perform even better to my surprise on the Switch. So whilst you can buy just the first, as it's also on sale, it's a great time to buy all 3-in-1 remastered package with 45% off the whole lot. Masters of Anima is an interesting indie game, a real-time strategy adventure game that feels a lot like Pikmin as you control your minions known as Guardians to attack giant bosses as well as solve environmental puzzles. We quite enjoyed reviewing this one, and looking back it really is a unique game, especially with the lack of Pikmin around on the Switch. I think you will enjoy this one and be pleasantly surprised. It has 75% off in the UK and EU and 70% off in the US as well. Undernauts Labyrinth of Yomi is a solid dungeon crawler within an intriguing setting. It's set in the 1970s when a mysterious labyrinth appears. You are a team of Undernauts that set into its depths to harvest the resources and the wonders within. You have the ability to assemble a team as you see fit with lots of customization and then take on these dungeons in first-person turn-based battles. It's all familiarly put together, but it is done so in a really interesting way, and the mix of gameplay, some horror elements and the political story works very well, if not perfectly. It's quite an ambitious title, and with 50% off, it does offer a lot of gameplay to explore. Graveyard Keeper is a Stardew Valley type game, except with dead bodies. Whilst it doesn't quite reach the levels of that farming sim game in terms of quality, it's still a very decent game. It's a good effort and there's quite a bit of varied fun to be had, especially with it now having 50% off. It was $20 and now it's up for $10, which for us is an excellent value price point. We think this one is definitely worth picking up and taking a punt on if you want something like Stardew Valley, but with a bit of a twist and something a little bit different out there. And there you have it, folks. That is our 10 picks this week on the Nintendo eShop across the UK, EU and US eStores. I hope you managed to find something that you enjoy. Do let us know in the comments down below. A quick thank you to all of our producers. We really do appreciate all of the support you give us, and to everybody else for watching this video. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's great to be back, by the way. I'm James Romero. This is SwitchWatch. Take care and have a great week.